Let's talk about something I'm sure a lot of you have felt. You know English. You can read it just fine. You can write emails. You can understand movies. But then the moment comes when you have to actually speak and everything just locks up. If that sounds like you, trust me, you're in the right place. And we're going to tackle this head on. You know that feeling, right? Someone asks you a question, even a simple one, and boom, your heart starts pounding. All the words you knew just a minute ago, they've just vanished. Your mind is a total blank. It's so frustrating. It's an awful feeling, but it's also a feeling we can absolutely get past. Okay, first things first. I need you to understand that this is not a you problem. This experience is incredibly common. It's practically a rite of passage for language learners. Let me tell you a quick story that I bet will sound pretty familiar. So, meet Maria. She studied English for 8 years. 8. Her test scores were amazing. She wrote perfect emails for her job. But then she gets on a video call with a new client. All she has to do is introduce herself, and she just freezes. Her throat gets tight, and she can barely say her own name. She felt so embarrassed, so frustrated. That feeling, the feeling that your skills just abandon you when you need them most, that's what we're going to fix. Okay, so let's get to the real heart of the matter, because I'm going to let you in on a secret. Your fear of speaking English isn't really about English. Nope. It's about something way, way deeper. And once you see what's really going on, you can finally start to break its hold on you. Here it is. This is the source of all that anxiety. See, in your native language, you're you. You're an intelligent, funny, complex adult with all kinds of interesting thoughts. But when you speak English, you worry that you sound like a little kid, using simple words to try and explain big ideas. It's that disconnect, that gap between the brilliant person you are and the way you think you sound. That's where all the fear and vulnerability come from. So on the surface, you think, oh, I'm scared of making a grammar mistake, or I'm worried about my accent. But let's be honest with ourselves for a second. The real fear isn't about saying he go instead of he goes. It's about the fear that when you make that little mistake, the person listening will judge you. They'll think you're unintelligent. They'll reject you. We're not scared of bad grammar. We're scared of being looked down on. And that leads us to the main villain in this whole story, perfectionism. We're taught in school that language is a test. You get points for right answers, points off for wrong ones. But a real conversation, that's not a test. The goal isn't to get a perfect score. The goal is just to be understood, to connect with someone. And that is a much, much kinder goal to aim for. All right, so we figured it out. The problem isn't your English, it's your mindset. So, now what? Well, now we change how we think. It all starts with a couple of really powerful mental shifts that can totally reframe how you see the act of speaking. I want you to really honestly think about this. Imagine a tourist comes up to you, speaking your language, but they're stumbling over words, getting the grammar all wrong. Do you laugh at them? Do you think they're dumb? No, of course you don't. You're probably impressed they're even trying. You focus on what they're trying to say and you help them. So why do we give that grace to everyone else, but we assume the world is going to be so harsh and critical with us? You want to know who the best language learners on the planet are? Babies. And what's their secret? They speak badly. For years. They make up words. They get everything wrong. And what do? We clap. We cheer for every single attempt. They learn because they are willing to speak badly first. That is the only path. You have to give yourself permission to be a beginner. And this is the single most important mindset shift you can make. Every single mistake you make when you speak is not a failure. It's a piece of data. It's an investment in your fluency. When you say something a little weird and someone corrects you, you just learned something you'll never forget. The more mistakes you're willing to invest now, the richer your fluency will be later. And that fear of judgment we talked about, let's just tear it down right now. Here's what most native speakers are actually thinking. First, they are just impressed you speak a second language at all. Second, they're listening to your message, not hunting for your mistakes. And third, they think your accent is interesting. It tells them where you're from. And look, if you ever do meet someone who's rude, that's a reflection on them and their own issues, not on you. Okay, changing our mindset is huge, but we also need some action, right? Let's get into the practical stuff. Let's open up the toolkit and find some simple, concrete things you can start doing today to build up that speaking muscle without all the pressure. The great thing is, you can start right now, at home, by yourself. First, narrate your day. Seriously, as you're making coffee, just say out loud, I'm pouring the water now. This gets your brain used to thinking in English instead of translating. Second, try something called shadowing. Find a podcast or YouTube video, listen to one sentence, pause it, and then say it back exactly as you heard it. Try to copy the music of the language. And third, record yourself. I know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice, but it is such a powerful tool to hear where you can improve, and more importantly, to hear how much progress you're making. All right, so when you're ready to take it out into the real world, just a couple of ground rules. First, start small. Go order a coffee in English. Ask how much something costs. Low-stakes situations. And second, this is a big one, never, ever start a conversation by apologizing for your bad English. You have nothing to apologize for. If you mess up a word, who cares? Just correct it and keep talking. The goal is to get out of your head and just communicate. So we've talked about the psychology, the mindset shifts, and the practical tools. But now we've reached the final piece of the puzzle. Honestly, this is the idea that unlocks everything else. I want you to think about it like this. Learning to speak a language is like learning to swim. You could read every book about swimming, watch videos of Olympic swimmers, you could understand the physics of it perfectly. But you are not a swimmer. Not until you get in the water. You're going to splash around, you might get some water up your nose, but that is the only way to learn. Speaking English is the exact same. You just have to get in the water. So many of us are just waiting. We're waiting until we feel more confident, waiting until we know a few more words, or until our grammar is perfect. But I'm going to tell you the truth. That day is never going to come, because that is not how confidence works. We have it completely backwards. We think we need to feel confident before we're willing to act. The reality is, confidence is the reward you get after you do the scary thing. Confidence is the result of taking action, not the requirement for it. It's built by proving to yourself, one small conversation at a time, that you can do it. The action has to come first. And ultimately, this is what I hope you take away from all this. This whole journey, it's not a quest for perfection. It's not about speaking flawless, accent-free English. It's about one thing: connection. It's about being able to share who you are, your thoughts, your ideas, with another human being. Your voice deserves to be heard. So, I'm going to end with a challenge. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, for today. What is one small thing you will say in English today? It can be to yourself in the mirror, it can be ordering lunch, but just decide to act. Decide that you are done letting fear call the shots. You're ready. It's time to speak.